We're going to kill some dragons today. Let's just start it off that way. I am on my level 100 Bard. This is on the Firiona Vie server. And yeah, I've been wanting to take this guy through some of our different fights that we've normally gone through back in the day, but have never really taken the time to go through and fight on a different character other than my rogue. So I've got my Bard here, who is level 100. He's got pretty decent gear, not the best gear. There's definitely better gear that he could be using. But I leveled him up to 100. I did end up also using a heroic character boost so I can get these cool bags. Basically gives you everything that you could ever need for a level 100 character to start out. Yeah, so we're just gonna start here in Western Waste, and we're going to kill some dragons. And of course, since we are not on our handy-dandy rogue, we are going to be getting attacked by essentially everything, which is totally fine. But we made our own little instance here, and yeah, I'm really excited to get to kill some of these dragons, because like I said, I have not really done anything on this Bard aside from that's what I'm looking for. Aside from leveling content. I did start leveling him up before the experience boost hit, but we did end up leveling him up from like 60 or so to like 80, 85 with during the experience content, and then I just used my heroic character boost to get him up the rest of the way. So we have, let's see here. Oh, hopefully I don't take a whole lot of damage there. Yeah, so we have these dragons here who are all kindly to us because we went there and beat up all the giants and killed Drakal. Look at that. We got Kalandakar here. I do really like the way the game looks with shadows and everything on these days. I could probably mess with the advanced lighting. Yeah, I'm going to turn off the advanced lighting here because it's super reflective. This way it's a little bit more tolerable, especially if you're, God forbid, you're watching this movie at nighttime with the lights off. You're going to burn your retinas. But yeah, so level 100 level 100 Bard, let me rephrase that, and we're just going to mess around and kill some of these dragons, and once we're done here, we're going to go to Temple of Ishan as well. I figured these fights would end up being pretty easy, but I wanted to give it a try just in case, so let's get us a cool little picture here. I'm not used to the speed of bards. Yeah, one of my favorite illusions of all time here is this werewolf graphic, which has been annoying being unable to get it on my rogue, but on bards, they have tons of cool illusions that you don't normally get on rogues. Let's go. Ooh. Well, damn. Okay. So that was that. That's for wow. He died incredibly quick. We got the Kalandakar's Talisman, reinforced Dragonhide Gauntlets, and worked Dragon Leg Breeches. Not bad though. The Kalandakar's Talisman is still pretty usable for level 1 characters. Unfortunately, the gauntlets and legs here are pretty much nothing compared to Defiant gear that is available. But I did find that out because it had been a really long time since I actually leveled characters from 1 to 100, or 1 to 85 even. Can I get up there? Yeah, from like 1 to 85 even. And actually utilize the Defiant gear, because I almost always try to avoid the Defiant stuff because I feel like it's kind of cheating. But we used it this time, and around, I would say around level 70 is when the Defiant gear stopped being comparable to actual like raid drop gear. Like 70 to 75, all the gear suddenly switched back from Defiant being the best to raid gear being the best again. Just because this sheer stat boost in armor and weapons from level 70 to 75, like, it's actually kind of insane. I wonder if I have any of that gear still on me. Yeah, I do. So, like, at level 75, you get, like, items like this Fabled Sword of Primordial Power, which is not a huge... It's not a really good example, because it's basically the best level 75 weapon you can use on a melee class. So, like, there's probably only one or two other items that are comparable. Really, 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 really good. And the Defiant gear just pales in comparison. And the armor even pales in comparison. Like, jumping from Defiant stuff to... like actual raid gear, it's like twice the stats from 70 to 75. Defiant gear will still hold you over pretty good, but unless you're playing with like a bot group of level 6, ooh, that fucker just dispelled me. Unless you're playing in like a bot group of like everybody just doing like their absolute best and maximum, you're just not going to compare to somebody who's using raid gear at level 75. I forgot these dudes dispel. This is about to be an annoying time. But that's okay. Let's get our stats back on here. Ooh, we have Santalak over here too. I forgot about him. Ooh. Thankfully our what is it called? The perk where you don't safe fall. Thankfully our safe fall is really, really high since we heroicked our character. Oh, damn dude, you got a big aggro range. And it's kind of nuts how much better bards start doing in damage from level 70 to level 80, because bards get access finally to dual wield and double attack in their 70s, and it literally just like quadruples the amount of damage that they normally do. Double attack 425 and triple attack even, but not dual wield. I said dual wield earlier. I meant double attack and triple attack. They get like double attack, I think it's 71. And then they get triple attack at 76. And just the sheer damage difference at that point is insane. Bards actually feel like they start to become a decent melee class, as opposed to just an all-out support class. Because I always, like, whenever I would hear bards talk about, like, what their damage was, the fact, it was always like, well, we do basically 50% the damage of everybody else, but we are a support class. They bring the support to everybody else as well. And I get that, so it increases everybody else to make up for the fact that they don't do good damage. But like by like the mid-80s, my bard was actually really catching up to my beast lord in damage. And we were using pretty comparable gear as well. It was a drastic difference in damage output. Which is really cool. Ooh, look. Selo's Drum of the March. Look at that. Santalak. What did you drop here? Santalak's Talisman. Peerless Dragonhide. Worked Dragonhide. Ooh, that's pretty good. That's not bad for a level 1. All the additional stats and hit points on it. But it was... Back to what I was saying, it was basically just a huge blast from the past to see how good the Defiant gear was made to be from like level 1 to level 70. It just to completely circumvent any of the content that you can still access in the game, but it just does you no good. And like I said, I get why they wanted to add the Defiant gear, so it kind of streamlines the leveling process from 1 to from like 1 to 80, so you can get to House of Thule content. I just really wish, instead of doing that, that they would have just added reasons to come back and do these zones. Like, come back and do these fights. Even just make them, like, you know, duoable, groupable, something like that. Or maybe even just, like, merkable, where you can just come back and solo these guys at, like, level 50, level 60, so you can see this content and you can get these items and have a really good time with it. I really wish that they had done that instead of just introducing Defiant gear. That way, you're still seeing the content and you're having a good time with it and you're not just completely passing it. But again, I understand why they did it, because they want everyone to come back and see the shiny new attractions and the shiny new toys and stuff like that. But at this point, I really wish that they would just take EverQuest and give everyone a massive, really cool quest line to do from like 1 to 100, that you can basically just go back and solo and group all of this old raid content and get really good rewards for it that you don't just immediately, you know, trash and not use. The weapons and stuff are typically really, really cool. And some of the old perks and clicky items you can get from like Lucklin and Valius, and some of those items are still really cool to use and stuff, but I don't know. I know I'm usually just talking out of my ass when I say that I want EverQuest to be made a really streamlined experience, but I get that it's really difficult for them to compact 23 years worth of expansions and a 24th year soon into a streamlined experience from 1 to 120. And this is probably the last expansion that we have that this level cap is level 120. Next year's expansion in December of 2023 is probably going to increase the level cap to 125 at that point. Which is insane to think about, but it's really difficult to put it into perspective how long it takes to level. I think a lot of you old school EverQuest players, if anybody here plays Project 1999 and watches my videos, I think you probably have a pretty good perspective of how hard it is to level. That's kind of what the leveling experience is at level 100 to 120 right now. It takes a ridiculous amount of time to go from 100 to 120. It's like, perspective wise, it's like what it used to be going from 1 to 50. And if you think about trying to do 1 to 50 back in the day with like EverQuest Project 1999, unless you have a group and a guild that's willing to help you, it's going to take you months. The experience bonus that's been going on right now is level 150. And it's 150% experience bonus, I should say. And it took me a week and a half. It's taken me a week and a half to get a character from level 100 to 120. I leveled my warrior from 100 to 120, and I'm talking back to back to back to back experience. And it's taken a week and a half. With 100% experience bonus fighting like yellow and red con enemies. Like right now, my druid is getting 0.06% experience per kill fighting blue con enemies at level 119. So that's roughly what, 30 enemies to get a percent? It's insane. It's just so insane how much experience it takes to go from 100 to 120. I honestly kind of feel like 110 to 115 is more difficult than going from 115 to 120 because of the availability of monsters. But it takes so long to go from 100 to 120 right now. It's definitely, it's like old school EverQuest, for sure. So I figured any of you P99ers that watch my channel, you'll understand how difficult it is to go from 100 to 120. It's literally like making a brand new fresh level 1 character and going to level 50. And it might even be more difficult than that, but it's simply just because it's been so long since I've done that, I don't really have a good perspective. I just remember back in the day, it took forever. Unless you had a group that was just like poop socking it from level 1 to 50, and you had everything planned out from start to finish, it takes a long time. It's hard. It's really, really hard. And the only reason I was able to get my warrior from level 100 to 120 is because I paid people to help me. Because it's really difficult to find groups right now as well. So I was literally just like, hey, I want to level up. Can I pay somebody to let me join their group so I can actually have like a grouping experience from 100 to 120? Oh, did I just let that Onyx Drake go? I don't know where that bitch went. Okay, we're gonna just use Fading Memories. This is going a little bit quicker than I thought it would. I thought this was going to be quite a bit more difficult. I feel like Anakin Skywalker every time I walk in here. The fact that I literally just walk in and I start killing all these babies. Oh my god. We're pulling them all. Okay. He's probably going to attack right off the bat. Look at that big old boy. It's going to be our cool little screenshot, I think. Even this guy is dying quite a bit quicker than I thought. Oof. Minus 500. Goodbye any and all experience or faction gains there. Katana of Pain. See, this is another pretty good level 1 character weapon. We're going to take that one. Rock Smasher. I remember back in the day whenever I would twink out like a Shadow Knight, I would either do a Shadow Knight or Paladin or even Berserker. I'd make a level 1 character and almost always get them a Rock Smasher for their first weapon. Because you got the haste, you got a really high damage weapon. Of course, that was back before they really enforced the damage cap at level 1. And it used to be after level 20, the damage cap was completely gone. But now it's like in phases. It's level 10, 20, and 30. It's really weird. It's one of the more questionable changes I remember having about this game. Get wrecked, chump. Ooh, slippery. Vim's Fang. Ooh. Really good twink weapon. Silver whip. Silver whip. Nice. Not bad. I think that's pretty much the best weapons that he can drop. And one thing I did think about the other day is I remember in the roadmap video that, or in the roadmap that the developers of EverQuest announced early this year, one of the things that they announced was like a future UI overhaul of the game, and after that roadmap came out, they basically stopped talking about it. Like, there's been nothing new mentioned about the UI overhaul. Makes me wonder if they're even still doing it. Oh, these dispelling fuckers. See if we can get this dude to attack us and get out of the water. Come on, buddy. There we go. This dude used to terrify me back in the day. He just looked so evil. This dragon, the one that's in Cobalt Scar, and Fadewar, or Fadedar, whatever his name is, they all have the same graphic, but this guy is definitely the biggest. Easy peasy. And he pretty much always drops the same things. This dragon with the blue, I think, is probably one of the rarer dragon graphics. Is at least in like classic Kunark and Valius. I don't remember seeing very many blue dragons, that's for sure. Oh, could not get any worse. Nice. I love this content, though. These old school zones are just, no matter what, no matter how many times I've done them, even if it feels like I ever have like been here too much, even just after being gone a week or two and coming back, always reminds me of good times. Okay, let's kill the Dispeller real quick. I will say what's nice about doing this on a Bard now. I love Bard speed. All these spells and perks and songs that I've got going on this Bard just makes this stuff so much easier. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure back in the day, I think Bards used to be completely unaffected by their own spells. Or maybe I'm thinking wrong, maybe I'm thinking of a different game. But I'm pretty sure that bards back in the day used to be completely unaffected by their own spells. Or their own songs. I keep calling them spells, but... What's up, buddy? Uh-oh. Losing our Symphony of Battle here. Let's restart that chain. Ooh. Pretty good sword. Pretty good sword. And the classic Horn of Disaster. With the stunning nearby targets. Wonder how effective that is these days. I'm sure something like that had to have been nerfed in the ground at some point. Ooh, this guy's actually hitting me a little bit. Boom, boom. These dragons are done. Now on to the rest of the North Wing. I do need to show you guys what Temple of Ishan looks like now, as far as the since it's been remade with the Kunark expansions, or sorry, the Valius expansions recently. Because Sleeper's Tomb was redone, Temple of Ishan was completely redone, and I say redone, but they basically, instead of redoing the zones themselves, they introduced new versions of them, and they don't like just override the original zones. I think they realized how much that pissed people off whenever they were remaking zones. Oh, I love Dispellers. I love that. But I think they realized how much it pissed people off whenever they remade zones and they got rid of the old zones. So now, at least in the newer expansions, whenever they like redo a zone, it's in a whole separate area. So like to get to the redone like Temple of Ishan and stuff like that, you're going through whole separate areas now. You're basically you take separate teleports to the newer versions of these areas, because there's like new Eastern Waste, Western Waste. I think even Kaeldra Call, yeah, Kaeldra Call redone. So it's cool that they still keep this this old stuff canon while introducing newer versions of them, so you can fight like the new Avatar of War and stuff like that. The duo, the couple. But yeah, if I do show you guys those new zones, it's obviously going to be on my rogue. My level 120 fairly decked out rogue. Not my level 100 bard that's just going to go into these areas and get completely pimp slapped. Man, this bitch is kind of tanky. Jesus. Ancient Wormhide, Greaves, I almost called them Graves. Face Smasher, another really good twink two-hander. Silver Chains. That 45 weight always cracks me up. Ridiculous. Ridiculous weight. I get that you can put it on... Ooh, Cloak of Thorns, nice. I get that you can put it in multiple different slots. It just always cracks me up how 45 pounds for an individual item that's not like super tank specific. Also reminds me of back in the day how monks used to get their attack bonus if they had less than like 15 weight or something like that, I think it was, because monks were always meant to be super light, and you got like the woos of fighting armor back in the day that weighed basic like 0.1. Monks were always the super lightweight dudes, and they got their wonderful attack bonus if they weighed under a certain amount. I remember getting a monk back in the day and having like a full set of like Wu's Transcended gear. The Wu's fighting bow stick, I think is what it was, something like that. Baton of Flame. Here's one of the best damage weapons right here. That rogue weapon's alright. Black Star, Masonite, really good cleric weapon. Silver Dagger of Destruction. Nice. Did we miss one? Who are we missing? Well, that is unfortunate. Who are we missing here? Oh, I think I didn't go far enough. I think we're missing the red dragon over here. Kill this little bitch first. Oh, okay, maybe not. Lord Feshlak. Here we go, the gold dragon. It's interesting. It looks like these dragons can't be pulled anymore. I remember pulling these dragons to different spots back in the day. It's a really interesting choice. I wonder when that changed. Makes me wonder, like, how long it's been like that, and I just haven't paid attention to it. One of the perks of doing these fights all the time, but constantly being high enough level that I basically one-shot them, is sometimes I forget what their actual encounter and mechanics are. Here we go. Here's the big boy. Lulak Air. This one might actually be just a little bit of a challenge. See, you can't pull him either. Wish I could scroll out further. Oh, he got me down to 99%. Come on, come on. Uh-oh, ooh. Really good twink shield for casters. Voltron's Necklace of Wonder. This used to be really, really sought after because of the spell haste. Sirah's Bloodstone Eye Patch, one of the first little teasers we had as an Easter egg telling us that we were going to be going against Sirah at some point. And McClear's Boots of Silence. That Dexterity, though, that's a rogue item if I've ever seen one. Ancient Lullaby of Shadow. Oh, yeah. Right. Well, alright, yeah, we killed some dragons here, folks. We did what we wanted to do. Like I said, I wanted to test out my bard against these fights. Probably be trying some more stuff here pretty soon. Anyways, guys, Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.